Setting is the first element of fiction. Setting generally refers to the time and location in which the events unfold. But there is more to the setting than these two components. The first component of the setting is the place. It is a geographical location in which the events take place. The story, for example, can take place in a house, overboard a ship, in a city, in a desert, under the shade of a tree, or even in the universe. Temporality is also an integral component of events. Events can take place, for example, at a specific date, on a specific day, or at a specific time of the day, in a certain season of the year, in a month, in a year, or over many years. Both the place and time can be realistic, that is, they refer to a specific place or a definite time, or they can be imagined. Take, for example, Tolkien's well-known trilogy, The Lord of the Rings, in which the place is imagined and not real, or, for example, Aldous Huxley's well-known novel Brave New World, in which the events are set in a futuristic setting, in a futuristic context. Weather conditions are also part of the setting. So you'd better take note of how the weather is described in the story. Is it cloudy and rainy? Is it sunny and bright? Or is it stormy? Social conditions generally refer to the milieu, the general milieu in which the events unfold. And these conditions include, for example, the customs, traditions, manners, the way the characters are dressed, the way they converse with each other, the language which they use. Do they speak in formal language, in colloquial language, in slang, etc. So all of these conditions can help us detect the social status or social class of the characters sometimes. How significant is the setting? The setting sometimes can be insignificant, that is not important, in that it just serves as a backdrop for the story, as a background for the story, since every story should take place in a time and place. But sometimes the setting can be integral, that is crucial in understanding the plot, or at least in appreciating the story. If the setting can sometimes shape the events, or can stand as or serve as a catalyst, as a motivation for the characters' actions. If you don't, for example, take note or understand the aristocratic and the upper class milieus of the 19th century England, you are less likely to understand or appreciate the tense relationship between Lizzie and Mr. Darcy in Pride and Prejudice. The same goes for other novels. The other importance of this setting is that it is intended by authors, sometimes intended by authors to create, to induce certain feelings, emotions, which we call which we call mood. For example, some descriptions of the weather, for example, or induce feelings of gloom and sadness. Some descriptions of the sit-in induce a humorous mood, a cheerful mood, or even a romantic mood. So it all depends on these descriptions. Notice, for example, how in this excerpt by Ernest Hemingway's short story, Hills Like White Elephants, the long white hills, the heat of the sun, and the arid air around highlights the bleak conversation between the American and the girl in the short story, and the difficulties of the in communication which they face. Descriptions of the sit-in literary works can be detailed, rich, and dense, or on the other hand can be economical and spare. For example, in Waiting for Godot by Samuel Beckett, the description of the sit-in does not exceed these few words: a country road, a tree, evening. But the sit-in in the play is highly symbolic and very crucial in understanding the theme of the play. The sit-in outstandingly accentuates and emphasizes the theme of absurdity in the play, and of course stands for the remarkable skill and genius of the playwright, of Samuel Beckett in this case.